And once it comes out, it won't get damp with it.
Oh my God.
And I asked them,
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to a meeting of the Stamford Selectboard. If you have a matter to discuss that is not included on the agenda, you may do so by addressing the chairperson and stating your name and address. You will notice that all our meetings are recorded, and this is to aid with summarization of the minutes. Visitors are welcome, and we allow 5 minutes of comments per visitor and 15 minutes per topic. Discussions will be held in a calm and civilized manner and respectful of others. Select board members present are
Mike and all.
Nancy Bushiba.
Tom Wright.
John Dunn, Kurt Kamari.
Will there be any adding of items or removing items from tonight's agenda?
I have new correspondence this morning.
Will there be any adjustments to the agenda, such as changing the order of items? Okay. Hearing of visitors, Patrick, you're on first.
Really? Where I go to stand and talk to
Be
you?
sure, you can stand by Laura.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
Hi, I'm Pat Kennedy. I was a local, grew up here kid. I live in North Adams. Hopefully I will be back in Stamford one day. I since started a recycling company in Adams, Mass. I'm just trying to work with you guys. We do a lot of the tough to do recycle items. We do mattresses, we do tires, we do any appliance unit or any electronic waste whatsoever. So I do have like a price list maybe I can pass along to everybody. I'm just trying to get into Stamford to hopefully make your guys' life easier. Transfer stations cost a lot to run. And if I can divert it, great. If I can't divert it, I can come pick it up from you, do whatever you guys need at the most cost-effective way. Massachusetts is a little different from Vermont because you don't have the bans on the mattresses. You still have problems with electronics. You have food's a tricky thing, composting. I can help. I have a friend in that business if the school struggles with that at all. But what I do is mainly mattresses, all four of those categories. I think I can save you money compared to any other place where you would be able to go. And I know there's concern about crossing lines of Vermont and Massachusetts. So the reason that mattresses in Massachusetts go to Connecticut and sometimes they go to upstate New York in the landfill is because of logistics laws transferring over. But me being a certified recycling center, I'm not worried about the logistics and getting that to have no effect on Stamford whatsoever. I'm $45 a mattress, where Casella, you bring it to Lennox, it's $55. On tires, I'm $8. I'm willing to work with whatever we do, however I can make your life easier, however I can save you guys any money on your budgets, because I'm sure that's one of your topics of agenda today. Just something that we do. I would love to know any feedback where you do struggle in the transfer station, or if I can do anything to.
Patrick, you have a website?
We do.
Yes, you do, okay.
We're working on really upgrading the website as we speak. It's hopefully about 2 days from launching, where the pickup app will be so stinking easy to use. It's step by step. Program your name, number. We'll give you a date when we'll come pick it up at your house. So maybe people don't even need to use a transfer station for those bulky things.
That's what I like, that it says you're gonna pick them up, so if I have 10 tires,
So I grew up in the mattress industry. I carried a couple of them in my day. They are not easy to carry. I'm a pretty big human being. I can do firewood pretty well, not as good as this guy can, but I did my fair share of it too. It's just a difficult unit. It's difficult to do things. Mattresses especially, that's where our business concept came into, and then since we expanded, because Berkshire County is a small logistics area. Westfield has more people than Berkshire County does. You know, it's one of those tricky things where we're looking to expand. Our facility is in full swing. We're big, 8,000 square feet to cut up mattresses. we get floors if you wanted to ever come take a peek, make sure that everything's set up the way you guys would like it to be set up.
That's one thing that, I was talking about your business early in the year,
Yep.
and talked to Kyle.
Yep.
You're actually recycling the mattresses, you're not bringing them somewhere.
They are not getting transferred to Connecticut like every other mattress well, there's a place in Gardner, that's my closest competition to actually put hands up, and then people that do it illegally, but 1,500 mattresses we've done around, and 1,500 mattresses wouldn't fit in this place. I occupy about that amount of space with 1,500 mattresses if I got it up that high to the ceiling, so we really reduce the footprint that we're gonna put in landfills. Right now, Vermont mattresses go all the way up to New York, upstate New York, and get dumped in a mattress just as it is. That takes up a lot of space. That's going to fill up way quicker than anybody wants that to happen.
As long as we can take a mattress, it'd be great.
Right next to that nuclear waste.
Just use it to dig the hole or
Yeah.
surround the hole. Mattresses, there's a ton of foam. There's a lot of, we've got stuff with horsehair in it, so I didn't have a second home for the horsehair, unfortunately. But we're at 80% now of the mattresses recycled. We hope to be, if we can get the toppers gone, find a home for them. Anybody has a creative mind, hey, I'm all about it. If anybody needs some pallet wood, I can drop as much box spring wood off as anybody needs. But I'm just trying to get in and say hi to everybody. If you have a town website, I'm trying to get on that town website of the reference over, so and maybe just a direct link to our website, because websites are making them easy to use for all different ages is a tricky thing, and I think we're really close to having that perfect.
Do you have some flyers you could leave outside in the hallway?
I definitely do.
I got it.
Yeah, perfect. I can leave
I've got one, I'm all set. But if you wanna leave some out on the
the table.
the table out there would be good.
Perfect, I will do that. Any questions for me, anybody? Anything?
Would it be worth putting one up on the bulletin board at the dump for people who are gonna need a resource for mattresses?
There's no, it's not a competition for us at all, because we lose money at it.
Yeah.
No matter where they go, it's a big thing for us.
Every town that we want to, transfer stations cost a fortune to occupy. I'm not trying to aggravate anybody's job. It's just the things that we do are a pain in the butt to do. It's not trash. It's not.
I think, but the recycling center and maybe there's a bulletin board out,
On the school wall.
right on the school
You'll see
wall,
that.
and it says,
More different.
not town, not school, but there's other news or something, other flyers could go there. People might see it there and.
Definitely.
Are these prices with the Freon, is that?
We take the Freon out. That's
So
what.
this price for an AC unit?
Yep.
With the Freon?
Yep. But if the Freon is out of it, it's scrapped. So
So I'd like to look at, I don't know what the transfer station's taking in now, but look at, okay, well, people might not wanna go down to Adams, because we do take a lot of this.
yeah.
But if you said, all right, well, every month I'm gonna come up and say, here's, 20 air conditioners that we took down, and we charged X amount of dollars, you charge, I don't wanna lose money, but,
No.
I mean, if he's taking them for cheaper than what we're charging now, or the same.
I would say for his efficiency, if he's up here,
Yeah.
at this point, I don't see anything on his list that we shouldn't just say, hey, wanna grab it?
Right.
If he's coming to get a refrigerator from somebody up here who wants to go up to the recycling center, I'm sure there's something sitting there he can take.
I'm putting out one day a week doing a
Yeah.
local North Adams suite, Stanford.
Because
It's right.
right now, there's a bunch of tires there, and I can tell you, his price is way cheaper than what
Right.
we're
Yeah.
So we're just writing a check to their company instead of.
I have a W-9, I have proof of insurance, and everything will be tracked, so
Yeah.
your numbers will be accurate when your time. The mattress fans come to Vermont. Massachusetts had to, they're not strict on it, people are still getting away bringing them over the borders, that's what we're working on
Yeah.
shutting down right now, so they don't go to a landfill. And there's a lot of hours, but I work a lot of hours my whole life, this is nothing new.
What's the tire, $8?
$8.
Yeah, the last few times we got rid of tires, the seller took them, they're $30 a piece.
To be quite honest with you,
Wow.
Don't go pat that, jeez.
swing through and grab the tires, feel free.
They may be one of my customers, is
Right.
all I'll say on that, all right?
Yeah.
So I'm here, we're not going anywhere. I'd love to save you guys money, make your life easier. I'm a phone call away with anything. You can call me, hey, I'm getting way too full up here, like you. I don't see Stamford filling up your transfer station in a day, but hey, I'll do a recycle event if you want me to do up here where I have the, whatever could be easiest. The problem we find is nobody has trucks anymore. Gas is expensive, trucks are expensive. So the pickup idea makes it easier for everybody not to have 3 lawnmowers
Yeah.
on their board. I mean, propane tanks we can do now. Anything, question, give us a call, we'll make it happen.
Sure.
If we can, there's an avenue.
I think we're definitely gonna work.
There's a
with it.
town website, it's not like the official one, but it's, you know, that all the town people, I can get that to the guy who runs it.
Please do. I appreciate any word that's spread. We're a year and a half in.
But I also wanna know what do you do with the mattresses when you recycle them?
Yeah, so we actually take them right in house. We cut them all apart. We're always looking for volunteers for hours too.
You're not gonna be multitasking right now.
Hey, never mind.
I can even pay you. It's just the guy, my competition. This guy can cut 76 mattresses in a day, and he makes $16 an hour. So I'm like, well, I'll pay him 20 and bring him up here. Yeah. So I'm just trying to make life easy. So we cut it up, take it all apart. The fabrics that I would love to show you in house what we do. So it starts leaning up against the wall, put it on our table. My kids are my cutters, and my partners workers are. We're working on getting a couple employees now, a couple more employees now that they're going to school now, so they can actually get their education.
Labor there.
Child slave labor.
Well, you ever? Daddy was when I grew up were $19.99 for the best pair of money you can buy. Now the ones they want are $150, and you're like, well, you're not getting those. So. Bruce Bulk, you're like, yeah, okay, you can get whatever you want now. You're just gonna work for it. So they get cut up, foam gets separated. The metal goes to the scrapyard, and the foam I have to sell in 22,000 pound increments to get rid of it. So it's not an easy gig, but and I might get lunch money after we get it. It's going to a second use. It's not the profit on the selling the foam. It's like the second use where it goes to. It doesn't go to a landfill.
But it's getting used.
It's getting used.
That's the-
Ideally, if you find anybody who can sew, I want to make dog beds. I would love to make them.
My pillow.
Well, people spend more money on their dogs than they do on their My Pillow for themselves. So a nice quality memory foam dog bed for your pet
Yeah.
made from the Berkshires would be a great thing. But thank you so much.
Thank you. So, leave your flyers out there,
Yeah. I'll leave them up there. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Hopefully I can save you some money. Bye. Thank you guys.
Any other visitors? Yeah. Will?
I was hoping that this agenda would have been, an agenda item. I brought this up about 2 years ago and just brought it up again. I emailed Nancy a couple of weeks ago. There has been a tremendous amount of traffic going up Mill Road, County Road. They've started the high tensions, and you said you weren't aware of it, so.
Right.
What is the town doing to help get money to fix the road that is turning, to shit,
Is
going
this
up County Road? It's,
county?
or Mill Road is awful. At this point, it's a disaster. You can't believe, Dave, you can probably attest to this, you can't believe the traffic. And they have the caution signs partway up the road, not even at the beginning of the road. So you come up that road and you've got an 18-wheeler coming down to get their second or third or fourth load of the blankets that they put, which I think is at Potvins right now. Why weren't we notified? Why weren't the residents notified?
I think we were notified.
How are we
It's just
going to
everything
get
we would
money
do.
for how are all 5 of you going to interact with these companies to get money to to fix this road.
I'm pretty sure
They,
we're
what is it,
notified.
an inch every year is the normal degradation of a dirt road. Right now, we have washboards that are literally hopping you across the road.
It must be recent.
It's awful.
Well,
Yeah, cause I was up there.
Well,
a
the
week
last
ago.
couple weeks they've been doing this.
Well,
Does this have anything to do
Why
with?
weren't we notified? Why don't we have
I'm pretty sure we had the
notifications down at
state
Mill Road?
forestry people here telling us we were gonna see some things
And
coming
they
and
said they
going.
would notify us.
Nothing.
And they
And
did
they-
say when it starts, they would notify
No,
us. It's not,
Riggs Distler did provide a, over-the-road use permit,
Yep, I'm assuming
and we
they did.
do have their insurance, so that's on file.
But this is a national program, there's got to be funds, there has to be. This is a great opportunity to fix Mill Road. Because right now, you're out of money, how are we going to fix Mill Road?
so I don't know about the funds, because we've had people up there before who've never received funds.
You have to.
I don't know, excuse me, I don't know if we are, in that position to demand funds. If there's a program, that'd be one thing, but I don't know where any program at this point that says, hey, if you have projects going up there, we've had projects for years up there and never received any funds.
I'm not aware of anything either. I mean, we get state funding. The truckers pay fuel tax, road use tax, and that's where a lot of this money comes from that we receive, I would say, from the state. It's hard to say who's causing damage. I mean, right now it's been dry for months. I mean, I've certainly seen the road worse than it is at the moment. I would have graded it already if we actually could get some rain, during a weekday, or some nice soft rain. But if I graded it at the moment, it'd be worse in 2 days than it is now. It'd just be weeks, so. Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, I can't imagine how much money they're gonna spend up there. They could throw, some at us. It'd be nice. If you can find a way to do it, great.
Is there any way you could check with your contact in Bennington, road guy, and see what he says? I know loggers and people can use this road, and we don't charge them.
I mean, it's a public way.
Yeah, that's,
Certainly see some residents going up and down as much, in a week as probably these trucks are during the day. If I could point out that they were actually causing damage, I think I'd be down here, like, trying to convince you to go after them. I don't think that we have a case at this point, other than,
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, there's no program in place, it's easy to say, let's get some money, but there's no program in place. You can't just go up and extort someone and say, hey, we want you, give us money before you bring the trucks up there.
I mean, when, on the class 4 road, the Velco did put some money in there, but it was because they decided that the road wasn't good enough for their travel
Right.
and wanted to make it better, which, great. I mean, I'm certainly not gonna do them any favors at this point, try to make the road better for them, but for the residents, I would have graded it already. I mean,
What?
I think if you drive up most roads in town right now, they're getting washboarded because we've had weeks of no rain and.
What it does concern me is they did come here and they did say, we will be doing it, but not yet. And now they're doing it, and I was under the assumption, or not an assumption, I heard them say, when we start, we'll notify you.
Yeah, there was a delay for some reason, when
Yeah.
they delayed it.
So that's a good way of reaching out to them and saying, hey, look, you guys are starting, you didn't notify us, is there any way you could upgrade our road when you're done?
was this National Forest
Yeah, I
that
was
said
gonna say, I
that,
think
right?
there's 2 different things
Start
going on
asking
here.
for
There's
One's
the
the
law,
power
which
line.
I think they
It's
were
the
gonna
power lines.
notify, but this is a totally separate.
Yeah.
This is,
They're all private
Or was it?
contractors.
Okay.
this is the high line, the power line.
Oh, okay, I thought it was the cutters.
Yeah, I don't think we were ever notified by National Grid. I don't know if they.
Yeah,
were.
talking, they were in there, walked
So
in there
it's-
last
it's
week,
not
and,
the
they were
National
gonna work on it.
No,
It's a company that's hired with a contractor, but they, working,
yeah, so
you know,
Riggs is,
by the upper bridge, that were, they along the stream, yeah, they were in there.
So when they do give us they ask for a permit, they give us their insurance and everything, like you said, if there's a problem, that there's excessive damage, then we could go after it.
Can you start taking pictures now? Just to have
Pictures
them,
of what?
the road now, just to have them on file and,
Sure, I mean, I can take pictures, but
yeah,
who did it? I mean, yeah, who did it?
yeah, that's right.
Who did it?
A lot of the washboarding is from spinning the
Yeah.
tires, it's like hopping and spinning.
Pickups. Pickups, right?
Yeah, speed is an influence on that.
I mean, once again, the conversation of roads, just in general, could take up a lot of meetings.
I mean, roads
What's
like
the future of our roads and, you know, what are
Yeah,
our
roads.
intentions and what are we gonna do?
should be paved. That road should be paved up to a certain point. I mean, there's enough traffic on it. What you gotta remember is at some point, there isn't gonna be a gravel pit in town. Right? You're gonna end up with more traffic on the road. It's already, you really can't keep it nice all the time. I would say it's decent, but depending on the weather. I can't always make it better. Like, it would be worse if I tried to do something with it right now. Mud season, I mean, the springtime, if you start building more houses up there, it's just, as time goes on, we really need to start thinking about, because everything's changing, the work we're required to do. So now the maintenance is more, you know, the stone line, like, I clean these ditches out every couple of years now, because you can't get them as deep, because they need to be stone line in the bottom. The gravel, you know, the way the winters are, have been.
I mean, our whole
you know,
conversation,
all rain or all dust or. I mean,
our whole conversation when it always comes to like the town plan always revolves around superficial stuff or nonsense. Right, we never get into the hardcore crux of what it is that we're planning for in the future,
don't have
right?
to
Like roads take like a 30-second conversation, like, oh yeah, we got roads, here they are.
Or what is this, $1 million
Really-
a mile for
We
blacktop?
never really get into how we laying out the plan for
The
this.
problem
town.
is where's the funds gonna come from? You look at these programs and they're always a catch, there's always a match, that we can't even afford to match, $1 million a mile, we wouldn't be able to afford a 20% match. And that's, we have townspeople complaining about there's taxes going up now, that's gonna raise taxes. You can look at it, but I don't see where the money's gonna come.
Here's part of the thing, we've talked about hiring more people, right? Well, take some of the maintenance away, I don't need more people, so your average employee's gonna cost you $100,000 a year, right? Your $1 million is in 10 years, you get at least 15 or 20 out of that road.
We have to start looking for.
So there's your money right there to at least do that million, I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Nine-ish years, I'm probably out of the picture anyway, if I make it that long.
Well,
Because I'm sick of it. Right, so then you've gotta find somebody that's willing to drop everything in their life to deal with the town, which is probably not gonna happen.
You know, I always wonder,
big problem.
if, you know, people have talked about Mill Road over and over about finding a different access. If you put a blacktop road up there, but you have a banking that's gonna, you know, slide someday, you know that's coming. Is it worth putting the money into the road or find an alternative
Just the
route?
cheap,
And I wouldn't know, I'm not an engineer, I wouldn't
Clean up the
come
slides.
close to know what's
we've been cleaning up the slides since the 90s. Clean up the slides, the cheapest,
I mean, we need higher ground.
you know. And just to try to widen out the rest of County Road in Klondike is gonna cost you more than paving, you know. If you try to follow code and standard,
Right.
you know,
Laura.
so.
Laura's got a
Is
question.
there any cost analysis on each road, how much you put in each road, so you can figure out how much you would actually wanna try to budget for piece by piece per year? I mean, how do you know how much
A
you're
lot of
spending?
it, a lot of it is dependent on how much are we gonna develop and where are we gonna develop, right? Which roads are we
What
paying
type
attention
of
to?
weather we had, right? Here.
Well, for instance, Mill
We need to
Road,
have a humongous conversation as a town of, you know, what is
Right.
it that we're doing and what is it that we wanna do? We write this town plan, 5 people read it, it gets thrown in the drawer, and then we write another one in 8 years. I mean, they need to be bigger conversations of where we're going as a town. How we wanna develop or not develop this town, and where's the money gonna come from?
Well, we just bought a new truck, and we bought a used loader, and we had all we could do to pull the trigger on those things. Then we bought a fire truck, and we had all we could do to pull the trigger on that. These are numbers, so these are just to keep up. We're not getting any better, we're just keeping up. You know, we have to have that new fire truck because the old fire truck eventually is not gonna be there anymore. Or that new loader it wasn't even a new loader, it was a used new loader because we had a 30-year-old loader that Dave couldn't even fix anymore. And so on, so we can look at a budget, we can look at budgeting for certain, just like we budgeted for that. $500,000 worth different than 10 million is a lot of money. I'm just saying, we could look at it. I think the only way we can do it is a state grant, or a federal grant, we would have to have some money coming in. Is there are there programs coming in there right now? I don't see
We
it.
have a grant right now for East Road. It's a $200,000 grant, which is a max grant, and those are only on class 2 roads. So the roads we're talking about are class 3, they don't offer paving grants for those. They just finally are starting to pay for some gravel through the Clean Water Act.
Now, on the other hand, is every year it's gonna go up, so if we don't do it today, like Kurt's saying, every 8 years it's drawer to drawer. If we don't do it today, we don't do something this year, then 10 years from now, it's not gonna be cheaper, that's for sure.
I mean, I think Vermont's gonna be hit really hard, one of the hardest hit states when it comes to, as far as development and access and roads. I mean, you're dealing with a very rural state, right, that's been dirt roaded for a long time. That's the 3rd most desirable state in the whole country to move into right now. So, I mean, this is a huge conversation, where is all this money gonna come from for Vermont to turn into something different than what it already is right now? And our only source of income is taxation, it's your property tax, and there's a lot of people that aren't liking the looks of that right now. So, it's difficult, and then, we chose to live in a rural area, there's certain consequences, I guess, that come with living in that rural area. And the more and more people that come in from urban areas, the more and more people that move up the county road, the more and more they're gonna come down here clamoring that they want the road paved, because the road's paved where I come from, right? Or all these other things.
Didn't we have, Bill and Jim, didn't we have years ago an article about paving the Shore Road? And that got shot down at town meeting?
Yeah, and before that, we had a bond issue, that goes back a while, maybe over 20 years. And there was a $200,000 bond issue to pave several roads in town. And nobody wanted to spend the money. But it's still not an unreasonable, and at that time there was grant money supporting some of that. It's still not an unreasonable thing to bring up, but I think it's gotta be presented properly at town meeting. You can't just say, hey, everybody's gonna chip another $1,000, $1,500 a year in taxes.
How much a percentage of this town lives on Route 8? What's the percentage that's gonna vote no on that right off the bat, right, because they live on Route 8? Like, forget.
Well, that's the
My
same
road-
thing as
my
us
road's
saying, no, we
paved.
don't wanna pay more taxes because we live up in the sticks.
Well, that's
That's
the
the same
nature of
concept.
the environment that we live in now, nothing's
we
really
have to
done
pay.
anymore for the benefit of the community.
Right.
Everyone thinks very individualistic.
They want their own.
Absolutely.
Deb?
I would like to just get back to my original comment. I really think it's up to the board to contact whoever is doing this to find out what the remediation is going to be.
So right away, when you said it was a national thing, but then you said it was
National
right?
Grid, but
So
this
that's
is,
a private company.
it's a United States program to upgrade the infrastructure of all the power lines. So yes, it's mandated by the state,
Mhm.
or it's nationally mandated. So this has to be done. They have to have funds in there for remediation of roads. There has to be. It's,
But we don't know.
and the fact that they've just taken over the road, literally. If you've got a truck coming at you, especially where Tetro is, what are you gonna do? And there's no warning, we haven't been notified, that's what I'm saying. I'm blown away that this isn't a bigger deal than what, I'm not just complaining about the condition of the road, This is a safety thing, yes, and with all these trucks going up and down, adding 80 tons, some of these trucks, I mean, there was a big forwarder going up there the other day. I couldn't believe it. You can't get around these things, and there's no signage, nothing. They just take over our roads. We have the ability to shut down that road until they can come to us and say, listen, this is the plan, guys. Wonder if they just decided to do this on East Road and all of a sudden you couldn't get by East Road. You guys would be complaining, and if you knew nothing about it, this is a big deal. We have one way in, one way out. That's it.
Right.
I really think this needs to take some sort of priority. I'm happy to do it, but I'm not a town representative, so.
Dave, what were you gonna say?
No, I don't I think it'd be great if we could get
I
something.
mean, it never hurts to ask.
You know,
But what's your recourse when they say no?
to
They
Deb
would go
speak,
further.
they could at least have cars in front with lights going where
Of
kind of
course.
working to some of this stuff.
All day
Right.
long, all day.
I mean, some of them, sections of the road, you're gonna have to stop when they're coming up and down. It'd be nice to get some kind of.
You get them to require flagging.
Not everybody's taking it easy coming down here either, so.
No, they're not. I saw one of the rigs trucks go by Old County Road. Just fishtail all the way around all the way from the bridge down. I don't know, have they started up at Drake's
So is
Farm
there-
yet, off
I haven't
Maltese?
seen it.
Is there a contact person that they give us? I agree with you.
Our
with
Riggs district?
Us not knowing this, we did.
Riggs.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree that we should have known. This is the first I heard interrupted. I heard about the National Forest doing the logging,
Right,
but
that's.
not the high tension. I never.
Well, 2
heard
years
about it.
ago, I think I came to the board and I said, listen, this is coming, because they got lost.
Now, which road are they going up? Stanford Pond Road?
They're going up, 264, yeah.
That's Forest Service.
And they're also going up, I guess, through Maltese. They're
Okay.
working in
Yeah.
phases, and I think pole 129 through 120 right now.
So they go over
And
Maltese.
they have a
straight out.
45-foot bridge going over Roaring Brook right now.
Over
and
Roaring Brook?
Roaring Brook. Yeah, you
By
go up
Tim's?
the Forest Service, yeah, if you keep going. And, I don't know, Laura, you may wanna bring this up with the ATVers, but the traffic has been unbearable.
Really?
Going up there right now, yep,
Going up
every day.
Forest Road, 264?
Yep. Behind our house. Mm-hmm.
Alright, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
So I mean, if they have a contact person, you can reach out to them and say, we've had some complaints and we need to see you at our next meeting and no longer, you could, if we have the ability to tell them, no, don't do work until then. And ask them, do you have flagging, what do you have in place for safety? Is there any provisions for road repairs? I mean, I don't know when you say, when I said, because I'm very, very ignorant of the fact that this is happening. If we say it and we say, go to hell, who's the person we go to next?
Oh, I'll find out,
Yeah,
don't worry,
that's
I'm pretty
the
good at that.
Well, that's what I'd like to know,
If somebody
there's
tells you to go to hell for that,
They might not say those words. Yeah, you wouldn't have.
please
to-
let me know.
If they say that to me, I mean, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Alright, we can look into this and see
Thank
what
you.
can happen. Anything else from visitors? Regular minutes of August 15th. I have a motion to accept them as written.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Road conditions? Dave?
The tree work's been completed from the storm that we had earlier in the summer. They finished up last week,
On East Road?
yeah.
Like I asked, did they cut the trees down on top of them?
No, they're supposed to get back on the price, but they're so busy that, they haven't done that, but I'll follow up with them,
Okay.
once I get their bill, to make sure everything's good there.
How many days did it take them?
It's hard to say, cause they didn't put full days in,
Okay,
they used it as a filler, so, still in Westminster getting some transmission work done. So I'm down in that truck. We've been working on ditching all along Middle County. I don't know if you've been up there, but the whole entire road ditched in the last couple of weeks. So we've been steady at that. Yeah, things are getting bumpy, but it's been at least 3 or 4 weeks of not really much for road.
I haven't been up there in a week, but last time I was up there, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I'd seen it a lot worse.
It's definitely getting, well, you know, the normal spots get bumpy, but as summer goes on, there's a life cycle to the entire road in a way, cause then I'll regrade the entire road here before winter hits.
I mean, it is dry.
Yeah, it's been dry and there's not much.
Loose
like I said,
gravel all
it'll
over
be-
the place.
Yeah, it'll be, if I loosen it up now, it'll never pack, you'll have a million loose stones and it'll be twice as bad in a day or two, so there's no sense in messing with it. But I assure you, as soon as we get the right weather, we'll be out there.
By far, that's your worst dirt road in town, right? I mean, because of the traffic.
Well, I would say LaSure Hill is equally as bad.
Yeah.
You know, you got Jepson, LaSure, and Middle Road, County Road, are, you know, constantly great. You're always on my mind, you're not always on the list.
The thing with Milrose County is people from out of state go through there all the time.
Yeah, in the summertime, it's
In the
extremely
summertime.
busy, extremely busy. People drive like it's, you know, the main highway.
It's a fun ride. And I mean, where you're saying the four-wheelers they're not on the main road, you're saying right by your house?
They must be going by your place. So they come kind of from the county and then they go up.
But not a lot though, right? I mean, I haven't seen a lot, and the wardens are up there
It's
constantly.
much better than it was.
I mean, constantly. They're up
Usually
there.
it's people
Well, it's
like that.
every day they're behind our house, every day.
Yeah.
Power company
Every day.
ATVs?
Is it on your land?
No, it's the Forest Service road,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is the power company of ATVs, do they have them all the time?
They don't, I did ask them and they are not the perpetrators.
Well, I also do know that, you can't get from Woodford over to Depot because the Forest Service took out 73, US 73.
Yep, that's gonna be out for a while.
Can't.
I mean, I can't,
There may be
use of
something
the
coming
roads
around
gone
through
way
crossing
down.
lower,
ATVs,
trying to get
you
around
don't see
somewhere,
them.
but you can't get from.
nobody wants to register and go through all that stuff, you know, there's nowhere to ride, so why do it?
Some of these road issues aren't just a summer thing, though. I mean, Middle Road, LaSure Hill, Jepson Hill are winter issues too. I mean, on a paved road, it's a lot easier, especially after the storm's over. You got a summertime road more or less now than it's on a paved road. On these gravel roads, I would say I can't get enough sand. They are sanded every single day. On bright sunny days, sometimes it's the worst because the sand drops through the ice pack and, you're not even thinking about it. You're going down the road and people off the road on a perfectly nice day, you know? So, like I said, it's, when you're the one dealing with it constantly with our small workforce of Michael and myself, you can see where, yeah, if you had a bunch of money, it would solve all our problems. But we need to start thinking ahead because, like I said, at some point, you're not gonna be able to get material local. So now the cost is gonna just be ridiculous, the amount of scheduling, like, it's just gonna be a huge burden at some point to have these gravel roads, at least some of these hills.
Could, like you have on Jepson, you have some blacktop that turns to dirt, would it make any sense at all to say, okay, we're gonna look at what it costs to go, I don't know, say from the town garage to Tatro Road, and say, okay, we do that first part, stop.
I would
And then
say
keep going, or is it
That's what I
better
was
just
the
to go all the
efficiency
way?
in winter is gonna be extremely affected by that. If you're gonna pave that, you need to at least go where Steve Mollis is, or a flat zone, or
At the county.
because the school bus goes to Maltese, you may wanna bite the bullet and just go that little
Oh,
extra
yeah.
distance.
Yeah,
Anything the school bus is traveling on should be paved.
yeah.
So
is that
Jefferson Road,
miles or two? It's like 3 miles, isn't
To
it?
Maltese?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's
because
3
it's almost 2
total.
miles from
It's
2 miles to my house.
2.5 miles to my house.
Okay, so
that's
it's
all
almost
that's
3,
all.
yeah.
Call it 3 and.
yeah. So Jefferson Road ultimately, would be nice to pay, we could put in for grants, but like I said, they're only maxes of $200,000 grant at this point, and we just got one, we're not gonna get one another, you know, I think the last one we got was probably 8-10 years ago. It's not, the expectation of somebody else paying for this type of stuff is not there.
So let's just say we had to pay for it, what kind of companies do you call it? That's just not a blacktop guy.
Well, Allstate Asphalt's, the big companies, I mean,
Yeah.
they put it down cheaper than I can go buy it from
Mhm.
typically. It's still gonna be a huge amount of money, but you would take out, you'd have to ask the town to be able to take out, you know, a loan for say 20 years or something.
Right.
So we're not, it's a huge number, but you're probably, you know, paying
Well, half, yeah.
$100,000 a year.
Sure.
I mean, the school budget goes up that much every year anyway, well,
Right.
I mean, the sticker shock is what's scary.
Sure.
You know, but the quality of life's gonna be better, you know, like when you have a turnover of employees, you're gonna have a smoother transition.
So why don't, it doesn't cost anything for a quote,
Right.
right? So, and I'm not saying, I understand what quotes are and estimates and all that crap. And I know that it's not gonna happen this year, it might happen 5 years from now, but if we get a quote, it'll give us some idea. If we're all talking about $1 million, but it ends up being $2 million a mile, or 10 million, I don't know. Maybe we should reach out to one of these companies and say, hey, what would it cost to go from this point to this point? This is the road, you gotta widen it, you got a brook, I mean, that's a bad road. It's not an easy road to
Who
do.
would do all the prep?
It's a
Do you have,
stagecoach
an outside company do all
Yeah.
this?
We would just grade it, but I mean, it's, the thing is, you're never gonna get it to that perfect stage where you should have it paved. I mean, none of our paved roads were perfect roads, they weren't brought up to the point where you would really want it. It's the northeast, you're never gonna get it right anyway, the road
Right.
moves.
Right.
But it's gonna be way better than maintaining the dirt road. I can tell you in the spring, you're just gonna,
Now, when you maintain East Road, you put that chip,
the chip seal, sure.
do you do the same thing on,
All of
Jefferson Road, all over, it's up by Bill?
Yeah. Once they're paved, you can do that.
So that's a lot more efficient than,
Yeah, and so they could also, so the base layer could be what they call cold mixes, which are a lot cheaper than hot mix. They would bring in they did it here, I had them do it, one of the first projects we did, I had them bring in cold mix of what they called it, and they set it up at the state garage up there. And they made the mix, it's not cold, it's just a lot, it's like 160 degrees instead of like 300.
Yeah.
So and then they put that down, but that stuff moves. That's why our roads hold up so good. We do this chip seal and we have roads that move. You know, so yeah, you see the cracking, but really, that's why our roads hold up a lot better if you just have south a little bit. They're all, because them roads weren't built either. The roads need to be able to move in the northeast.
well, I think you
It's
should,
more flexible.
you know, if you don't mind, reach out to one of those companies, ask for a quote.
Yep.
Bring it back to us, give us a start, cause that's farther than we've done in the last 10 years.
Don't you ask for a hot mix quote and a cold mix quote?
Well,
Yeah,
Dave,
I'm
yeah, Dave, you
yeah,
can.
I have a regular salesman that I deal with
Yeah.
all the time for Allstate Asphalt. So.
Yeah, let's see approximately what will be the best bang for the buck, and just a good, just start the
Get an
conversation.
idea, we at least know where we're
That's a lot of money to swallow, like you said, so to start the conversation and say, and then, like Bill said, is if you know today, when you get to town meeting, you got some answers. You know, if this one day of everybody making a decision would be a tough bill to swallow, but, you know, if we wait until 10 days before, we wouldn't be able to
No,
answer
you
the
would-
questions.
You have to do education meetings, you have to
Yeah.
do
Present it better.
present it well. And if in truth, it turns out that the immediate things that you wanted to pave, say they cost $2 million right now, and you look at what the cost of a $2 million bond is over 20 years, and that may be the kind of cost you wanna bring to town meeting.
Right, you, like Dave says, you tell them, hey, we wanna spend $2 million, that shocks you. But we're gonna spend, $100,000 for a certain time.
The school budget was just $2 million in June,
Oh, yeah.
and
That's a
of
whole-
March, $2 million.
And that's not going away, so when we say, well, they spend it on school, that's added to what we wanna do. It's never gonna go away, when we talk
Yeah.
about it all the time.
Yeah, but if you're talking about 100,000 for 20 years,
Right.
even if that's 120,000 for 20 years,
Yep,
whatever the heck the bond costs.
sure, yep.
Well, I think it's similar to what the fire department did with the truck. And, you know, we've talked about this, and I completely understand. But in 9 years, when Dave retires, if you're not gonna be able to, you're not going to get the younger stock in that's going to do exactly what Dave and I do. I can't imagine you're going to find road crews that are gonna come in and maintain dirt roads. You'll have a much better chance of holding on to somebody, or even if there's gonna be a revolving door, maintaining a paved road than a dirt road. So this conversation needs to start now. And it may not happen for 9 years, but if we could start saving for it, maybe in 6 years or 7 years, it could get paved. Meanwhile, we've still got you guys, but we've gotta think of the day when you guys are gone and you've got 2 new people coming in with all these ideas, and they're not gonna wanna hang around and massage these.
And you don't,
roads.
I mean, we'll have to take your word of which dirt road is the best dirt road to start with. When we already started on Jepson, and then it goes to dirt, is it feasible to finish that one? Or is it better to go to Mill Road, or is it better to go to LaSure Road? So we have to look at that too.
Some of that conversation goes back to what Kurt brought up, is where does the town want to expand?
Yeah.
Where are we gonna have more traffic in, say, 10 years? My guess is probably everywhere, but that loop around
It
No.
seems to be
is
that.
the most likely
Yep.
place to expand, but, you know, you go up Bolger, McGee, I mean, there's plenty of lots, I think on McGee in that area that could be built on too, so.
I mean, Mill Road's a scary circumstance really, as far as investing a lot of money
It
in it.
is.
The river is right there, and that could happen anytime.
No guardrails.
No guardrails.
You know, the whole road could be just
Which is
washed
one-
away, which is a big problem.
The only other, I mean, you're gonna spend it somehow or another, you're gonna rebuild that road, you're gonna keep rebuilding that road.
No?
Yeah, I don't see it not happening, and there's no other feasible place to say we're gonna
You know,
make a better road in there, I mean, not at this point anyways.
if you could, reach out to your contacts and just give us a starting price and see, and suggestions, what
Right,
roads to
and
start.
start a conversation.
Okay, can we move on to highway garage roof quotes, Dave?
So, I got a price from Stevens and from Vermont Roofing Company. And Vermont Roofing Company has a different product, they don't offer the same product as the Stevens, which is what we were looking, it's more along the lines of what we're looking to right now, as far as investment in the garage. I did call another company and they never returned my call to try to get a different quote on something similar, so I only have the one from the Stevens.
So what was the one last meeting, insulation 82,000, who was that from?
That was from Vermont Roofing Company.
Okay, and Vermont Roofing, do they do one without insulation?
No.
Okay,
No, they don't offer
alright.
anything other than that.
And Stevens was the one last meeting, no insulation, 38?
We're just replacing what's there. There's no upgrade. But we may be able to upgrade in the future through grants. Lori and I, we had our energy audit done, I still haven't seen the results of it, but that money's one of those, if there's ever money in the future, we have information now, we'll look at shovel ready type project.
So maybe the thing to do is replace the roof without the insulation. Hopefully we'll get money with energy audit, at least repair the leaks that are in there now.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody has another company, I reached out to them, like, I don't know if I wanna say their name,
Maxie turned into Vermont Roofing?
No. They're not listed that way.
The ones that do like the Schmiegel and.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's everywhere.
No, they're gonna be cheaper. They do a lot of shingling, but I've had estimates personally from them that were 4 times the
Yeah,
cost.
they're not cheap.
Yeah, no, so, I didn't bother with them. This is somebody right out of Woodford. I was trying to keep it Vermont.
What about Vermont foam? Or do they just do foam insulation and not do anything?
This was roofing, the Google roofing in our area, and I tried to find people that were close. I don't know this guy.
You wanna think about this, or make a decision tonight, or just
What is
put
the
it on
time
hold?
frame in which you're trying to accomplish this? Before winter?
I would
Next
say
year?
the roof is in pretty bad shape. It's been bad for a while.
Yeah, like, so realistically, we try to get this
They say
done prior to
yeah.
Maybe the
winter.
roofs don't fix
Yeah,
themselves.
no.
Alright,
This time.
then do we wanna make a motion
We didn't
to
buy the
go with
self-repairing
Stevens?
roof.
Exactly.
I'd like to make a motion to use Stevens for 38,000 to fix the roof.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we wanna discuss this more, or
No.
take a vote? Go with it. Aye.
Aye.
Go ahead, Dave, and that is coming out of our ARPA money, right? On road conditions, we have declassification of 0.3 mile section of county road. I asked last time if we could wait and put it on the, put the decision on the agenda so everybody knew we were talking about this. I mean, we did have our meeting probably a month ago, and then last meeting it came up again without being on the agenda, so now it's on the agenda. Do we wanna declassify it, keep it as a class 4 road? What's your, okay, let me go back too, and what Martina was here saying too, and I kinda looked into it a little, that
Where do we go, what was our last decision, because it's back and forth, this is another.
I think we were on the verge,
Kids can't,
I think we were
yeah.
on the verge of declassifying it last meeting.
Right.
and
Then we
yeah.
got a whole long list of lawyer speak that was very hard to translate.
We said, at a public hearing, we voted to keep it as a class 4 until we got more information. And when Martina was here, she was saying that, well, you maybe can't go on it, or maybe you can't have motorized vehicles on it once you downgrade it to a trail. And then I got some more information about a town, what was it, Tunbridge? And Tunbridge, that, there, for many years, they've been in a legal battle with some owners that, the town wants to make a section to a trail that goes to, that abuts these owners, and the owners say you can't do it because the town loses rights and anybody fixing up that road will be trespassing on their private property. But nothing has come about of that lawsuit, it just went to Superior Court and then it got thrown back down.
Yeah, I keep
So-
looking at that, and they keep throwing it out of court, and their lawyer, the town hired a lawyer, so they absolutely can maintain it. If you read through that, the people have no case, they just keep trying.
Just
Yeah.
go.
Get some.
Just keep going. So, my opinion is, it's a class 4 road from Rums all the way over to the Pownell line. And Dave has to do minimal maintenance of the class 4 road. But he feels, I believe in talking to him, that he wants to give up that 0.3 because we don't do anything over there. But I'm thinking if we do something at roads, we're just doing part of the road and it's minimal maintenance on a class 4 road.
I think there's a big difference between that section of the road and the rest of the road.
Well, my question would be is,
Just,
we go to the Powell line, where is the Powell line at Risky Ranch or down farther?
No, right there.
Right at Risky Ranch, so the 0.3 covers it all. Cause you, once that's a trail, you can't get, if there was more road, you couldn't get to it anyway.
Right.
There's, if you take our grader down there, I'm gonna kill you. I mean, of course, you know, but it don't, we're not maintaining it anyways. That's the whole point, is we never have, we never will. It's just crazy.
Okay, so Pownell comes over their county road, that's a class 4 road, all the way over to the Stamford line.
I don't know if it is or if it isn't.
It is on the
I
map.
don't know what theirs is called, but maybe if
On the
you
map
say
it
it's
is.
okay,
It's class 3, and then it goes into class 4, 1.34 miles to the Stamford line. So I don't believe they maintain it either. But people do, but two
not
people
from the
do,
broke up, they don't, that's for sure. There is a camp there that they,
yeah.
once in a while.
Can people drive their Jeeps on a trail?
Yes, yes, yes.
I believe,
that's it,
yeah.
Yes,
We're
You
doing it
believe
now,
so?
we have houses on a town trail.
right, so
We have a house on a town trail.
I just wanna make sure that we, the
I'm
town,
driving a
don't,
Jeep on it anyways, because.
don't lose any rights if you wanna take your Jeep or you wanna take your motorcycle up
No, I
there.
get it, yeah, I do understand.
I've read through that, almost all of that, and by not saying it, it says it, you know, it's kinda how, you can read through the whole entire thing, it says we're not responsible for maintenance or liability, it doesn't say we can't do it.
Right,
It doesn't say anything about non-wheel vehicles, it says we can control.
right, National Forest or what the four-wheeler or ATV people are good, the whole point of this is you wanna use it, but they're not gonna put a gate there. They can't, it's not there.
Right,
It's a
right.
public right of way, whether it's a road or a
Right.
trail.
Natural Forest has purchased other trails that they have put gates on. They're not buying this, they don't own it, all we're doing is changing the name of it.
And Roaring Brook Road for Stamford Pond Road is, part of that's a town trail, it goes to
Right.
National Forest. They don't block it, right, they block it up higher where they can, but it's not a town. Wiley Mountain Road is a town trail, it's not blocked up there, there's a camp in Stamford on that road, people drive to that camp on that road. National Forest down here saying they can't do it.
But I personally don't understand why they block such a pond road. That's a trail also.
I can't,
They do block that. So I
But
don't
it's
know
not
why.
public, it's
No,
not
no, no,
public.
no,
I think it's because they're doing that, like, work around the sensitive area.
But they do have camps on that road that are Stanford-owned camps. They should be able to access those camps.
They probably have right of way,
Yeah.
but they're not public,
They
right?
have a key.
To what degree, if we keep that as a class 4 road, what are our requirements as a town to, can't you just, I mean, you haven't been doing anything on it in a
No.
while, can we just leave it?
So we got lucky. Because they change things all the time, a few years ago, they put in that Clean Water Act.
Mhm.
So maintenance, on a class 4 road, it doesn't say there can be no maintenance. It doesn't specifically say what maintenance. It says to the good and necessity of the town. But drainage is supposed to be maintained. You're not supposed to have the real erosion, especially on a hydronically connected road segment, which some of that's going to be. So we're supposed to at least maintain real erosion, I would say at the bare minimum. If it's a trail, we don't have any. If it's a road.
How much
we're
time would
still-
this maintenance you're talking about, how much time would that take to do?
I don't think we could. I mean, the banks and the sides are so high, and then you're gonna get in a fight with National Forest draining water on their property that hasn't been there.
It's
We don't
gotta
have
be
like
4 foot.
Yeah, we don't
4
have.
foot, 5 foot
If there
down.
was drainage existing and we were just maintaining it, we'd have prescriptive rights, but there's nothing there at this point, like it's non-maintainable.
The creek.
Yeah, I mean,
It is a creek.
dry route.
It is, sure.
It's in the
That's
best
where
interest
the
of
water
the
goes
town.
down there.
because that's, I mean, we're responsible for the safety of that road at this point.
so the water's running down that road, goes into Pownell's class 4 road.
That's their problem.
Yeah, but it's our water.
But we're not
They're the ones
putting
that
it
crosses the line.
Nature's doing it.
Is that the deer that jumped the fence and killed it?
But just that one statement, we are responsible for the safety at this point, should make us all jump to the other side and say, let's put it as a trail that takes away that liability.
Yeah.
It
And
makes
what
sense.
if they increase you know, the
Yeah.
demands on what it has to be, and it's
Right.
still a class 4. Then all of a sudden, we're liable for
And they will.
$1 million.
You know they're going to eventually.
Yeah.
And in the future, if we ever had to do something to that road segment for whatever reason, it's gonna take an awful huge investment anyway.
Right, if we had to
Regardless of.
make a road that go through there, whether it was a trail or a
Yeah.
class 4, it's
It's
not up
already
to
beyond.
code it on a class 4.
You can bring it back up to a class 4 if you want later on.
Right,
If you decide that was a
right.
mistake, well, you know,
What
you can.
But you would have to anyway.
What about the ATV club? How do they feel about it being trail or class 4? What, is this going to hurt them, help them?
It doesn't matter whether it's a class 4 or
Yeah.
a
I thought you said
Right.
something about grants or something, you can work.
I think we determined that last meeting that
Yeah.
the language is all there. Good,
There's,
the language that you needed.
You were gonna give us some things.
Yeah.
about-
I thought I said it was. I thought
Tom
you guys
has
said.
paper.
What was the paperwork, Tom?
For
You
what?
were gonna give us something that you gave us last week and it must have got filed somehow. What was that for?
The paperwork is for a funding grant. So we maintain that section of Town Highway 12 and then TR 301.
Town Highway 12. That's
That's
it,
the .3 section of Town Highway 12,
okay.
which is the,
That's what it's called.
I'm talking about.
TH, yeah.
And that's a grant, so who can maintain it? That, the ATV club? And does it have in there that you have to work through with the road commissioner
Of
because?
course, oh yeah, no, this board and the road commissioner. Oh,
Unlike the high tension people.
They just get to do what they want.
everything has to be signed off.
Wait till the
by the
helicopters
board.
start coming.
Well, they have to replace the poles.
Who said they're gonna drive?
There's Saddam, yeah.
Yeah, they said, they're turning them all into metal poles, so they're taking up the other ones. Okay, just wait.
Somebody make a motion.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion, we change it to, like we said last time, we change it to a town trail. Legal trail, town legal trail.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that
Aye.
your turn?
No,
Oh, no.
One no?
no.
Yep.
Hmm? My reasons.
So, Laura, you'll have to, notify, what's her, Miss Ally or? It's not, it's not Kirstie Alley, it's not Kirstie Alley,
Yeah.
Ally somebody.
You always put your hand up after the motion.
Cause I got, well, the motion's
It's
fine.
Ally somebody.
The second part of that is, did you get the key to the gate?
No.
So Sean Langston said to Martina that I went down to Stamford today and dropped off keys with Lori at the town office.
Oh, you got it.
Okay. They have
It
two
just happened
locks.
this afternoon.
Okay, good. I was forced to do that until they didn't have time. I
So-
took the key.
Who gets the keys? Does the town? We don't want them.
For
First
emergency.
responder, first responder.
The fire department, right?
Yeah.
Now, do we
Well,
know if,
that's
do
what
we
I
know if
mentioned.
national, if they gave the fire department keys?
No.
They just dropped off they dropped off, what she said, what he said? Keys, cause there's two locks.
So, yeah, definitely, that's why I mentioned it, for access for safety. I know you guys will cut the gate.
The
Emergency
same
person.
key
We
works.
don't have that big truck anymore that you just,
Plow through.
Right, so there's two locks on each side. The same key opens up both locks.
Okay.
So do you want both locks to be given to the fire department? Is there any reason for the town to keep a set in the vault or hand them over?
Well, if they both go to the same lot,
Keep one and
I would keep one in the office
Yeah.
or spare, and then give one to the fire department.
see if the fire department has one already, but they probably don't.
I don't think so, but I don't even know specifically
Are
where
they
it
not
is.
duplicate
And I don't-
copies, or can
I'm
we
sure
make
somebody in the department does.
5 copies?
Well, if they would get in touch with Lori,
Also, it says non-duplicate key.
keep one here.
I'll need somebody, get somebody to tell me what it is they want access for, to, or where. Show somebody on a map.
301.
Hmm?
Circle
Go
Pond
right.
Trail number 301. Okay.
Okay,
It's just, if someone's up there, though, a hiker or anything, if you guys need to get into that access, it makes sense.
a week and a half ago, we had somebody injured at the new Seth Warner camp. It's a 2-hour walk in.
Yeah, they made it so you can't drive in.
They didn't make any access. Our people have tried with our 6-wheeler and a couple of 4-wheelers
Yeah.
last spring, and they couldn't get through. And National Forest and A-Trail people never showed up to help either. So when this girl got injured, it was just about a 2-hour walk in, and it was a killer because of how steep it is. You're walking the
Oh, yeah.
A-Trail. And Paul and Corey came back and said, you know, it was more, Rob Lamore walked it with them. And it was mud puddles and rock.
Lots of rock.
A
And
lot up and down in there.
Yeah.
they did get,
Slippery rock.
they did get the young lady out, and then she was airlifted. Once they got her off the mountain, she wound up with stitches in her eyelid. Thankfully, it did not affect her eye. But Paul is filing, you know, recognition again with National Forest and the A-Trail of what a situation is that they've created by moving that camp.
Is that more halfway between Woodford and Stamford Road? Is that why they moved it, or
It's
just because?
further out in the woods. They maintained that, you know, it was getting too much use, and the path around it was getting abused and worn down.
So it's not right on AP Trail itself, it's off,
It's
quite
on
a
the
bit?
trail, but it's way
Farther down towards
north.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
They didn't want ATVs to get there.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't
There's
want
a
to.
big
It
side.
Party
was
spot,
too, it was
getting
too
back.
accessible.
Yeah, but they made absolutely no provision for emergency access.
Right.
They didn't think about that.
They're not the ones
It
going.
was all beautiful.
Dave, I'm changing that to a legal trail. I noticed on several town maps, not just Stamford, not just Reed, but many town maps, on the section that's unimproved, can we put the letter U, meaning impassable or untraveled? Or designation? I mean, it's on our map there now. We don't have any in Stamford, but most of our trails are passable.
I'd have to visit their town and see what their road looked like, why they put that on there. And,
Can we talk to Miss Alley and ask why, or,
I mean, in Reedsboro, I know they got class 4 roads that don't look like roads at all.
and they've got the U that's on the Smith Road between the,
It'd be hard for us to walk through them.
yeah.
That might be why they do it, but it doesn't take away their responsibility. Cause I had that conversation with, the AOT about that. At some point, it's gonna be a contentious thing, because they want these laws followed, and now they're following up on a lot of things that they never used to, so. I think you're gonna see that other towns at some point are gonna have to start turning these things into legal trails instead of class 4 roads. I don't know why they would.
Class 4 with the U saying impassable and don't do any work on it.
Part of the complications that I was talking about earlier with Vermont trying to come up out of ruralism, right? It's becoming developed, and it wasn't really meant to be.
That's like going from Martell's the camp down, that should be a trail, it shouldn't be a class 4.
Right.
That's, you're not gonna grade that.
From our house to the town line should be
Yeah,
trail.
that's a, college,
Step at a
I don't
time.
even, college would go down that.
years ago, it used to be a little better, cause the city of North Adams used to allow, John to take there was some gravel deposits on the side of the road, so they used to grab a lot of that. And
Yeah.
try to keep the road passable so that they could get up to their property for whatever reason, but that's all gone, it's been going on for a long time, so. And Sir Sosimo logged out there years ago and put a bunch of money in the Risky Ranch at one point. You know, so, usually when somebody does something like that, they put money in our roads more than we do.
It's kind of, I mean, it's kind of a predicament too, right? And then you start clearing off more of this forest for development to occur, and then you get more and more erosion on the road.
Then there's more water coming down the hill.
Where's the balance?
Saturating
The
the forest.
balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we're gonna have issues too, is when we start clearing large pieces of land for, people building, is that it's all gonna come down. So you want, that's part of the plan, where's the water go from here? Like from the Boulder roadside, I'd say that's the best place to start clearing property, because the water's not gonna affect.
Well, yeah, anywhere basically past the crest on Mill Road towards Yellowwood County.
You start
Pond Lake and
looking,
Risky Ranch all falls the other direction.
the more you develop, say like Brown Brook area up in that way, or, Mount East Way, anything this side of, I would say, Klondike, it's all coming.
Yeah, it's all coming this way. Most of, even the lower half of the Shore Road all runs off
Yeah.
past the village of Stamford, but anything to the northern end of the Shore Road goes down to Roaring Brook, and then everything north of Mill County Road comes right down to the village. So, I mean, any development up in there is gonna change the hydrology big time.
Just the one house that was built on the lower side of Busher Road the last couple summers changed where the water flows, and it's caused me some issues when we have heavy rains a couple of times, and the property owner tried to do something a little different to help, but it's still.
I mean, it's a huge conversation, and it's hard to have because it includes a lot of, property rights and stuff like that. How do you zone up a town that benefits everyone in the town and not just, a handful of people? But it's a hard conversation to have because everyone wants to do whatever they want to do on their own property.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Not tonight's decision.
No.
No.
It's definitely something we need to talk about, and we definitely got farther into the conversation with the roads tonight than we had in a long time, but it's definitely something that we need to get deeper in on the planning board, probably especially. Where are we segmenting off this town? Probably needs to be zoned in different ways than it is right now, where we just say, okay, 2 acres here, 5 acres here, and 1 acre here, and that's it, blanketed across the board, and it's probably not really the right way to do it. But, huge conversation.
Anything else on roads, Dave? Okay, recycling.
There was a mess up there a week or so ago with they brought a 40-yard recycling, so anybody that went up there on Saturday probably couldn't throw their recycling in the
Be like,
But
Safe shot.
they'd gotten so far behind that somebody from their Rutland office had to come down and they brought a 40-yarder, which was almost unusable. And then they didn't empty the compactor until that Saturday morning too, which was, both were supposed to be done on Thursday, cause they had called them on Monday. But they, made a call, on Monday, and they switched out the 40-yarder for the 30-yarder by Wednesday, so that got taken care of, and they actually re-emptied the compactor, which they didn't need to, but they did because they had screwed up, and wanted to make sure that everything was empty.
I have a question on recycling. Do we know, so it goes up to Rutland, do we know where it goes from there?
Well, it doesn't usually go to Rutland, they have to send somebody from Rutland down here because they're so far behind. So, it was going to Pownell. But that facility is closed.
But then where does it go? Because China's not taking recycling anymore, they're not taking any of the US's garbage. So I'm wondering, you know, we had this situation out in Arizona where it was this big scam, you pay a bunch of money for recycling, and gee, it ends up in your
Oh, I'm
landfill.
sorry.
So I'm just curious if we ever followed the chain to see where all of this does go, because, you know,
It's the part we don't talk about, doesn't make anybody
well,
feel any
well,
good.
we should, because, you know,
Definitely
you wanna do your part and make sure that you're separating things out and it goes to the big corporation in the sky and, well, gee, money, I can't put it over there, how am I gonna pay my bonus? So it just goes back into the landfill. So I'm just curious. I'd
A lot of
love to know.
plastics are floating out at sea.
Oh, it totally goes out to sea, absolutely, yeah. So what are we paying for?
When it was CAM, I did go to the facility and saw how they separated it all and they baled it, and then people actually bought it from it.
So
People were paying.
all metals still, that's their number one
Yeah, no,
export to
absolutely.
China. Number one export to China is scrap metal. We sell them our scrap metal, we buy
We buy it
finished
back,
materials back from them.
yes.
That's
Well, it's stupid because,
Ah.
but what it is we deal with a country that has no regulations, and they can do it less expensive with the barge and everything than we can coming out of Detroit. That's why you need to put tariffs on things, but that's a political
Yeah.
thing. But if you put tariffs on China and India, then it would be equal, you would see places out in Detroit, Buffalo, making steel again. You know, and then we would be
better.
selling steel instead of buying steel.
Look at
Selling oil
chickens.
instead of buying oil.
You send them over there to be processed.
Yeah,
and they come
it's
back.
unbelievable.
It blows
How
your
you
mind.
can do that is send something all the way around the world.
China's crashing Volkswagen right now, as we speak. They're bringing it, Volkswagen to their knees right now.
Yeah.
So,
That's the number
No,
one car
so I
in the
was
world.
just curious if anybody's
China
ever.
owns the electric
done
car
If
that.
you watch over in China, the trash trucks back up to the Pacific Ocean and dump them every minute of the day. Every minute, they're dumping trash into the ocean. And we're over here feeling good that we recycle. You're right, we don't know where it
We
goes.
don't know where it goes, okay.
Well, Vermont just implemented another Vermont household hazardous waste law for more covered products. And what it's gonna be, it's, when you buy these products at the store, there's gonna be a little increase because it's just like your paint program. They tax a little bit more on a gallon of paint and then.
they still dump it in the ocean
They
for
still
free.
don't know where they are.
Well, it's like when Bernie Sanders took the radiation waste out of the nuclear plant, and he brought it right through this town, and went down to Texas.
There's a
Everybody
lot-
felt good, but it's down Texas now. It's
Yeah.
not
I mean,
gone.
there's a lot of feel-good policies. There's probably only 3 people in the entire country that can actually tell you where it goes.
I'd love to know.
Nobody knows.
I might, that
Where
might
does
be
it
my
go?
next thing. You let me know what they tell you.
Those poop.
Yeah.
Call Paula Camperman at VCRC. She's the recycling guru and, she's
She'll
part of.
tell me, oh, it goes up to, you know.
I mean, why isn't there a way to retrieve the petroleum back out of all these plastic products, right? Rather than just dumping them in the
That'd be
ocean.
awesome, wouldn't it?
Right, right?
Yeah, I knew a guy that wanted to do it.
I knew one
It was
too.
crazy,
Yeah,
but
oh yeah. Yeah, he was.
he died. He was
gonna
a
do it.
genius, one of those geniuses that
Yeah.
crazy at the same time.
Jimmy, right?
Yeah, he could do it.
I know you were talking about, when we were
It's
on
Jim Baker.
Yeah, same guy.
the Jeep, on the way to that.
Yeah.
He actually had a company called New Earth Salvage where he was, gonna, spin turbines by burning plastic melt jet.
Yeah, we went with them down the Mountain Tom. We had a big meeting, we had the state rep, Dan Bosley and everybody with us. Went down, sat with the company and they said, this is unbelievable, this is the greatest idea we ever saw. And then they asked him how he came about the idea and that was the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
All natural waste.
He's passed, so.
I went to his house once and he lived in the attic and his horse lived in the
His
bottom.
horse was in the house.
Yeah.
And I know people love horses, but that's just a little
Oh,
crazy.
Italy, they're all like
Well,
that.
he would always tell you it's just a horse trader.
He's like, stop in for a beer. And I'm like, are you
He was-
kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
He was definitely a character for sure.
Okay, so I attended an alliance meeting yesterday on recycling and, our household hazardous waste facility in Bennington got a couple dings because we didn't have a log inventory and a daily inspection checklist, so they're working on that, but other than that, it's, we're okay. And it's only, it hasn't really been operating one full year, the end of October. What's the other thing here? Legislative update. The Alliance is working with Bennington, Town of Bennington, their, Chamber of Commerce. They're hoping to have this memorandum of understanding with any event put on by the Bennington Chamber of Commerce, which includes the Garlic Fest, that any vendors will use compostable products. First year, they're gonna ask them to do it. Second year, they may have a vendor that they can buy in bulk, all from the same vendor, and everybody use the same product. It's still in the works, but they wanna keep a lot of the paper and, not the paper, but the plastics out of the landfill. The Bennington Town Committee, Compost Committee, or rinsing the plates people use before they went in the trash, and I go, no, that's not gonna happen, but that's something that's in the works that, they're starting with the Garlic Fest because that's the biggest event that Bennington has, and they're gonna just reach out county-wise. I don't see it happening next year, but any event that people put on town-wise, you need recycle, you need your compost, you need trash, and how to do all that stuff.
If you don't, what happens?
I don't know.
They still,
But this
they still
never-
dump it all in
But the
ocean.
memorandum of understanding, there's a little bit of, they're talking about a fine now. Or they're gonna tell the vendors you can't come next year. That's what's in their understanding right now, if it passes, but it's still in the works. And then, Bennington Library is gonna have Fix It Fun, November 9th. Bring any of your stuff that needs to be fixed. I don't know what people are gonna be there and what they're fixing, but they said sewing machines or hammers or trains, whatever, they'll fix it,
Amazing.
and that's it.
Your children, your husband.
November 9th. Oh, that's it. Yeah, didn't talk about that.
One thing we won't be able to bring is wives, because that's unfixable.
We are perfect as, we're perfect as we are. Okay. Nothing
I'll
else on
figure
the
that.
site. Emergency management. Bill, you had something you wanted to bring up? I thought you were bringing up something about the, fire truck.
That's the next item.
Yeah, emergency management. Oh, sorry. Okay, nothing on emergency management.
Nothing
Fire
I
truck
know.
loan.
Fire truck loan.
Okay.
Went back to Adams Co-op. They're perfectly happy to write a loan for 5 years. If we wanna pay interest only for 1 month to be able to pay interest, but it won't reduce capital, you know, if we got the truck in November and the first payment would fall due in December, and if you don't wanna make that and you wanna just pay interest, they'll accommodate. Doesn't make any good sense to us. We're still talking about a 5-year loan. We're within the range of what doesn't require bonding. They do not, and they don't want to write loan papers until we need the money.
Yeah.
They feel this protects us as well as the bank for whatever interest rates change over the next 2 months. Paul's looking with the expectation that the truck will be available around Thanksgiving, which might make a first payment due in December.
So we have enough for a first payment.
We have money to cover, well,
I think the town's got enough money
oh, yeah,
in the fire truck equipment
overall,
replacement fund. But it
No.
looks like,
In this truck's fund.
in this truck's fund,
yes,
you might be able to steal money out of, emergency management money. You might be able to steal money if you still got ARPA money that is uncommitted.
I hate to steal money out of Peter to pay Paul, I'd rather just.
Yeah,
keep
but
it
you've
clean.
gotta commit that
You have to have
ARPA
all that
money by
ARPA money.
December 31st.
Right,
Anyhow,
but the other thing is, it's gonna be, figured like $60,000 a year repayment for 5 years for this loan. So there goes more tax money.
so one comment, we got Tracy from the bank, who just as soon work directly with Lori. At this point, since we're terms and we know what's going on, there's no point of having to go through Paul and me to Lori, turn around and go back to Tracy. So that's the intention of how it's gonna be done. And that's as much as I have about truck loan. It's going forward, it's agreed that they will write the loan.
Sweet.
Lori, delinquent dog update.
So, Luke, has been working on trying to bring those dog owners into compliance. I did have one dog owner come in late this afternoon and license his dog.
Good,
One of our dogs moved out of town a week or two ago.
good.
And, he did reach one who said that she would be in next week. So, I mean, we're still maybe at 6 or 7 people who are holding out.
Still ahead of last year. Like, what a ways, aren't we?
Yeah, September, 6 or 7 people. Moved out in November and still has.
Has Luke
Right.
issued the tickets yet?
I'm not sure.
All right, do you want me to email him and say, Luke, if you issued the tickets, I need the copies back here in the office, Lori needs them in her records.
I know he's been calling them and whatnot, I don't know if he's.
Every time he does stuff like this, he puts in a bill to us, he's working, he puts in a bill. I hope the tickets cover what, it's costing the town. If not, we ought to look at that.
Or send
You
the
know,
tickets,
This is one of the issues that it keeps me off because it's so little, it's just laziness. There's no way this is about finance.
Yeah.
The hard part with the ticket is the people can just accept the fine and pay the court. And then the court gets the money and closes the case and they still haven't licensed the dog.
So we don't get the money.
We don't get the money, so we're better off to have
And that
Lucy
doesn't make
hounding
sense.
them.
Like I
if
said
it'll
before, this
work.
is one of the things, the state wants to take it over, go ahead.
go and take it.
Yeah.
Have it.
Yeah.
Here you go.
But that doesn't make sense. This is the stuff that drives me nuts. How can we run our town, enforce people, punish people, whatever you wanna call it, if we don't get the money?
Right.
What good is
Then
it?
you can't, it's a paper tiger.
No, and if we're paying him to make these excessive phone calls, I mean, it's due, January 1st, you have till April to pay it, and now here we are in September, and he's billing us to remind people to do this, it's crazy.
We could make better use of the kennels,
Yeah,
put the owners in it,
yeah, exactly.
It's not paid.
just for
Bring
24 hours.
Well, it's usually never a bad dog, right?
How
That's a
many,
bad
how
one,
many
right?
dogs are out, how many people?
I have it right here on the counter.
Yeah.
I was always worried about like
Such
putting,
shame.
we put our delinquent tax people's names out.
Yeah, I was thinking.
And that's a very, that's kind of sensitive. You might not have the money, you might fall into hardship. This is $10,
I know.
15 at the tops, Holy
That many?
crap.
Oh, God.
So it
They're
looks like
all-
we're down to 7 people, 9 dogs.
I think this should be listed as a.
Will the state let you
Town
put
report.
any more teeth into
Dogs
it?
and delinquent taxes.
We've done what the state said in our dog ordinance.
I think
Let's read them out and put them in
I
the,
mean, these people,
Let's read it
I
out,
would
put 'em in the
never
minutes.
picture half of these people being,
Would you state who those people are, please?
that's up to the chair, I don't have. a
I
problem with that.
agree.
Okay.
Read them out. Stacy Busey, Sumner Road, has a dog. Dog's rabies expires September 2025, so all she needs to do is register her dog. Lynn Bascom. She needs a rabies shot. Doreen Bentley needs a rabies shot. Megan Bouchard has 2 dogs. One needs a rabies, both need, nope, one needs a rabies shot. Ryan Clark, rabies shot. William Primer, he could do the dog, it's okay, it's current. Clay Townsend Zeller, 1 dog needs a shot.
How many dogs do you have? 1 or 2?
2
He has 2 and 1 needs a shot, so that's 5 dogs that need shots.
Yeah,
that are running around.
that's the part where people.
That's the whole purpose of this program.
Really scary.
Yeah, it's a public health issue.
The whole purpose of the program is to make sure they have the shots, it's not the $10.
Do we know anybody, their relatives, who can say, get your dog down there?
Sends you.
Does the town still do the rabies clinics?
A lot of them do that like North County.
Fire
No,
department.
we did it this
Yeah,
year.
and the-
Well, see, Dr. Sly tells you to stay, my various places to my that veterinary place. Twice a month they have?
North County, North County, yeah.
That's the Tractor Supply?
Is there a point at which you can take the dog?
Yeah, we got there one time.
Because the other side, the liability side of it is, God forbid some kid gets bitten.
Right,
There's no rabies protection on the animal. Who's responsible?
Right, we know about it.
Yeah, I mean,
We've been neglectful in our duty to let that animal still be on, in public.
Let's get Lou involved in this, he knows the laws.
we start getting into impounding dogs and it costs the town a lot of cash.
Oh, sure,
A lot of cash.
we can't impound them, we only can keep 2 dogs and
I
at
mean,
that
you
point.
could spend $20,000 in the blink of an eye on somebody's dog.
well, maybe that's the next threat, you should say, we're taking your dog.
Well, I remember when, I think it was Chris Stardew was chair, in the state law books, you can send a warrant out with a sheriff and then the dog is humanely destroyed. And we got to that point.
Take your sheriff, we just follow it.
We got to that point, and I had phone calls left at midnight from drunken people who were mad that we were coming after their dogs
I
and
mean,
they were
you
like,
get to
hey,
the
you're
point where, I
doing
mean,
it,
I've literally read articles where towns are on the hook for $15,000 and $20,000 for people's dogs.
For rabies, because they didn't
Just
use the
because
rabies
they
shot.
impounded the dog for one reason or another.
Right, and people won't pay.
But it says in the law, you gotta register your dog.
You could put a lien
How
on
do
your
you
house.
enforce them, how do you enforce them? I mean, I guess you can put a lien on their property or
Right.
whatever, but you're getting into a whole bunch of legalities, it's just craziness. The state should take over this whole entire program.
And if you call the state right now, they'll tell
I
you,
think
it's
it's
not our
destruction.
problem.
I mean, you could bankrupt this whole town because someone's got a dog that they're not wanting to take care of,
Yeah.
literally.
What about like ASPCA or something, is that a form of, of neglect possibly?
Well, they're so crowded half the time.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
can't-
I know that Lou
Yeah, they're
can't.
crowded, but they gotta go out and look if there's a report.
They'll go out and look, but they say it's on the town, the house, the dog, you guys.
Yeah.
Would they? I don't know, if they take it, like my daughter, one of my daughter-in-laws used to work in the ASCPA in Boston. And she used to go out with police and other officers there and bring dogs in, take them away from the owner.
If there's no room to keep the dog at their shelter or whatever, then it's on the town.
I know Luke had a real tough time finding a place to
Yeah.
bring dogs.
That's why we got the kennel.
Yeah.
But the other
And
option
that
is
costs
just
us a
let them
lot.
go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be liable either way.
I mean, long-term, there's the hope. North Adams is apparently building a shelter with a lot more capacity than they.
Down across from the
Expect.
cans,
Looks nice.
down across from the
Yeah.
cans, pause something, pause
Pause.
something.
Yeah,
Second.
no pause behind or something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd get Luke involved in this a lot, say, let's just, whatever we.
You gotta do
Our
something.
policy is do it and do it quick.
Quick.
Because it's not only they're not registered, they don't have the rabies shots. And there may be a provision that says that's more important.
And nobody's dog died, right? I'm just saying, I've gotten things from you in the past and my dogs have died, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you think though, if I sent you a letter and then I sent you a
did.
fine,
Well, I don't know
you say my
that.
dog died.
They haven't responded.
But
to
maybe
me.
other people could just maybe throw it away and be like, oh, my dog's dead, and just
Right.
throw
Right,
it
and
away.
we're still
And
after
I'm
them.
just thinking.
After the fine goes out, I
But
would.
after
I'd be
10
like-
phone calls, you say,
10 phone
oh,
calls, yeah.
Oh, it's like,
my dog died, that's all you need to say.
I mean, no record of rabies shot may actually mean that you, are we mandatory to confiscate that dog? I
It
don't-
might be,
I don't
that's
know.
what Bill's saying, we might be
Yeah,
liable
we
if
might
we
be
don't.
liable to go have to confiscate the dog and then
Keep
go
our
ahead and
dog
house
ordinance.
5 of them for a couple months and see where the bill's at then.
That's
Another
what
10 days?
It's all crazy.
That's, if they don't have rabies shots, that might be more important to do.
Well, I think our ordinance says we go through the court system.
It'd be
And
cheaper to go up there and just give it the rabies shot.
It doesn't make them register.
Hire a vet, go up there
Oh,
and give it a
yeah,
shot.
that's one of the things I hate to do it because everybody would want it, but
Right,
here's your $15. Now,
Right.
go register your dog,
get the shot.
you know?
Yes, since the vet bill, then maybe the vet.
Yes, it's,
Yeah,
but like you
get
said,
it
cost more.
Tractor Supply for
Yeah,
me.
you could go
get a
right
rabies
to
shot at
Yeah.
Tractor Supply.
It'd be cheaper for us to pay for it as a town to go right to their house and give them the rabies shot than it is to take that dog and put it in our account.
Yeah, oh my
Oh,
God.
then we'll be doing everybody's too.
Exactly, but
But then we just raise
the-
taxes to pay for all the dogs and see what
Yeah.
people say.
That's all right, every one of those that you pay for, rabies shot, you put in the town.
Yeah.
You put it in the select board minutes, if you need to, you create a category in the town report.
Yeah.
Money dispersed,
Put it on their tax.
Because of that.
Public shame.
Public shame, that's what it is.
Put it on their tax bill.
We should get those shackles off the front.
Right, but that don't give them the shot, that's the big thing.
No, if you have.
Oh, we had to go get them a shot, yeah.
Charge them for their tax bill.
Yep.
Put it on their tax.
Charge them $100.
8%
But then it-
Penalty
fine,
interest.
penalty when you miss that.
Okay. Laurie, you call Luke tomorrow and
Yep, I will.
gotta do
We
this.
gotta do something, man. If this doesn't work, we gotta look at this too.
I mean, we've had to do that with people that won't change their driveway culvert. Ultimately, we go round and round, and we do it, and we don't.
Right,
This
Yeah.
is more of a public health issue than a culvert.
right, we're gonna take your dog, we'll bring him and give him a shot.
Charge them $100.
Yep.
And we'll,
Put it in their tax bill.
Yep.
wanna foster another dog?
No.
Oh, you were looking for some dogs, weren't
We
you?
got one coming.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but we
Maybe
got
one,
one coming.
maybe one couple,
Yeah.
keep company.
How about a wolf pit?
There you go.
Where I live.
Okay, town website, Laurie.
So, I guess I just wanted to make you aware, the state updated their laws recently and said boards like you have to now put the audio files of your meeting, either video or audio, has to go on your website. The file is so large that our website man had extreme trouble getting it to load. And I couldn't email it to him for him to try because it is too large to send by email. What it means is the storage capacity that we pay for on the website is probably gonna end up being a problem. We're gonna either have to pay more money for the website. The other thing he suggested was paying for like cloud
Clouds,
storage. And you just put a link on your website, and now we're paying for all these files to be stored somewhere.
So is it now mandatory that we record the meeting?
It's mandatory
That
that we
was
record.
optional at one time.
It was optional and just for the minutes, but now audio or video, something has to go on the minute.
Well,
on
but
the
what he's
website.
asking, is it mandatory in the first place to
Yeah, the
record?
Yes, open meeting law.
It wasn't mandatory last year.
Yeah, when the new open meeting law happened.
So could it just be a link to the YouTube channel? Like, why do we have to?
That can't
Because
be
it says
official.
it's
Because
our.
I know the school wasn't doing it.
If we have an official town website, we have to have it on ours.
So if we put a
Lori, you know
link on
that,
our
right?
website, what's
Yes.
that?
Planning commission also.
Yeah.
The boards that make their
Library.
own decisions, so,
Yeah.
yeah, planning commission, stuff board.
But the change.
So, if there's a link on our website to the cloud, can you put it up there, or does our webmaster put it up there?
I think that,
Up
if
there.
I've never done it before, I'm assuming that I would have access to the cloud and put things up there.
Because all you need to do is
How
say
do you get
keep
it
it up there 30 days, right?
Where does it
No,
go?
well, 30 days from when they're
Well,
approved.
like-
Cumulus cloud or Thunderbird.
That's all mine is my email,
Yeah.
is that all my storage is in Gmail cloud.
Yeah.
I mean, I never be able to store everything if I couldn't. do that.
So find out the price of that and,
I mean, I think every third meeting I could get rid of the first,
yeah,
but you'll have to keep at least 2, maybe 3 meetings, depending on how they go.
I
Yeah,
wonder if you could, I was gonna say, if you could tell how many people look at them, but it doesn't matter, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
I personally
If they
think,
want.
I personally think the open meeting law should be, it's open meetings,
door.
come to the meetings.
well, then, yeah, I mean,
Because you can't, you listen to that and you can't interact.
right.
Or you don't know who's, you may not know who's speaking.
Well, yeah.
About raw data and stuff, cause he has these videos on his computer, like, all of them, on just his laptop at home, so it shouldn't take that much space.
Yeah, you should
Well, I
be
can
able to
store them
press
on my computer here, but what we pay for on our website just
Not
doesn't
that much.
include that amount of data. And so we kind of, I mean, the last time the state started dictating, you all just said, no more website, we're done.
Well,
And
this is
we
where
brought
we
it
were
back,
talking
and
with
this
Dave.
is-
Dave says they're changing the laws, now they're changing the laws. Pretty soon they're gonna want it a year's worth, pretty soon they're gonna want
Mhm.
other things on that website. It just keeps getting
Yeah.
more and more, but they don't throw any money our way.
More demands on the towns, and we have to follow through.
I said, Kurt said, you wanna take over, go ahead.
Now, you write it and you ask them where the state website is that you'd like us to store it,
Right.
and we'll send it there.
Yeah.
That's a
That's a
great
good
idea.
idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have the
Okay, let us
capacity.
know what's going on then. Sign 2 deeds transferring lot 294 and lot 188, and these we approved many months ago. And
One
I'm
of
glad
them-
that,
Yes, one of them recently and one of them a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he said he sent the check and it must have been lost in the mail, and then he found the check under his wife's seat of their car. I don't
maybe she didn't want to buy the land.
I don't know.
She's wondering how she can
Months and
transfer
months
this.
and
Yeah, ton of stamp.
So yes, we're ready to sign both deeds.
So that means, if I'm figuring right, we only own a half of Elkinwall lot. And if we can see who owns the other half, maybe we could get rid of that too. Because at one time, we had about 50 or 60 Elkinwall lots that we took at tax sale. And we're trying to get them back on the tax roll.
They're building up there.
Oh, my husband and I went up there the other day. Of course, we got lost a couple of times.
How can you not?
You
Because
have
I'm getting out of it. It's required.
Lot of
Against
figures.
the whole now, but beautiful homes up there.
It's like going into a whole different world. You go there, every time you go, just go a different way.
Yeah.
And people keep wanting location
Remember the
numbers.
community
Yeah.
center
Now,
used to
we
be
still
there?
swimming
And
there.
it gets to be a challenge to find out where the hell the property is,
Yep.
never mind measure it to get a number.
Exactly, the one that you,
And then they said, no problem, we've marked the driveway. Bullshit, they put one marker
I
stake,
know, yeah.
doesn't give you a beginning or an end, the house is marked, there's a couple of flags out in the woods.
I had to go back down to where I had service so I could go on
Yeah.
the Alpenwald map.
Right,
to
but you
figure
lose
out
service too.
where to go
Yeah.
from it. Yeah,
But by-
absolutely, I had to drive down to Cleft Road.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was just there. Oh, it's across from lot 401, which had a for sale sign. Okay, now I went back up there and put the P up.
And I'm working from a complete subdivision map of the whole place. Of course, it's interesting because some people use the original lot subdivision number, some people have a street number.
Well, the couple
Oh,
houses don't know where.
They couldn't up there.
You just turn around, and go back out.
Yeah, they go around here now. I said, where's this go? It doesn't go. There's no sign that says that.
Best fun is you wanna drive a fire engine there
Oh.
in the middle of the night, preferably in winter.
Look for the
Oh.
When Craig has or has not gotten there to sand the roads, and you look for a bright light burning.
Yep.
And you
laugh.
can't get there. It sounds horrible. It
Yeah.
sounds horrible.
It's right over to that side, you're gonna go down here and go up this road, up around.
Been there.
Lori,
I don't do
what
that
else
anymore.
you have?
Well, this is funny that we talked about this new excess weight permit came in today.
Oh, I thought they gave us one last
I would have thought so too, but,
So that must have some nice, oh, don't sign it.
Riggs Disler.
yeah. Beacon Acquisitions or
So they gave us this after
After,
they started.
oh, yeah,
Oh,
Better
clearly.
than some,
Holly Higgum, okay.
some
So I have an
Oh,
email
is that
address.
the one that's working on the?
Yeah, the
lights?
white
That's
truck,
right.
The
yeah.
white trucks, yeah.
Yeah.
I talked, like you said, I talked to a bunch of those guys last week, just, I was walking.
Well, Holly must be, she's gotta be with the insurance.
Now you know who, now you know who to go after.
Yes.
Great, and Phoenix. Wow,
Holly, what's her name?
I think she's with the insurance.
The closest is
Holly
in
Hill.
Jacksonville, I
But
believe,
I
yeah.
think I have an email,
Yeah.
so I can.
Please, this
give
way.
dates
Yeah,
sometime.
I mean, I just was right to this,
Well, in Jacksonville.
like you said, what are you gonna do?
Only because.
For the damage in the roads, Are you gonna fix anything? Well, what are you
Utility
damaging?
and
Oh, you're
emergency
trying to,
vehicles are
you know,
exempt.
kind of push them a little, you know?
That'd be right to the insurance company and ask them where to file the claim.
Yeah, where to file the claim.
There you go, yeah.
Am I signing this, guys?
Sure.
You gonna do a motion?
I don't care if you sign it, I didn't read it.
Greg Stisler, the overweight
take their
permit,
money.
$10.
Yeah, discriminate, yeah, everybody else's.
Yeah.
And they're probably still gonna keep
Did they give us
going
the check?
regardless.
$10 won't cover the road damage?
No, but it gives you the insurance company's name.
Yeah, it gives you, yeah.
That's right, that's a good thing to sign, now we have the insurance.
Ah,
Yeah.
John
Or
Dory.
you go after that.
Who says that? excess weight fee is $10?
State,
It's been $10 as long as I can remember.
Most people, most towns have gotten rid of that, it's an archaic.
Yeah, we don't mandate it anymore, we
Right,
just
we just
take it.
take the money if they're not to pay.
Separate people.
And it's for automobile liability, 2 million.
Hey, what is,
We have local guys.
what are our bridges rated for? Of going up Mill Road.
Oh, well, I mean, they're legally posted at the end of each road for the axles. And the only time that is
The vehicles that they get in the accident.
not in effect is when I post them in the spring.
Right, okay.
So that's the
I
only
mean, they're
time.
probably within the regulations.
Yeah, I would say they're not over.
Like even those forwarders, I mean, what do they have, 8?
They're,
The walks are.
they're almost, especially the mats, the mats don't weigh more than.
What happens if we close the traffic because who do not have flags or trucks escorting them on the basis that it's a safety hazard?
On that county road?
That's that.
They're not
Right.
Right.
Bridge, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
That's all right, Mike, we should reach out, well, not be insurance, but just say, hey, you gotta give them flags.
I mean, there are mining roads all over the place where they have people with radios and one end and the other. and-
Right, they should have flags. At least they should do some safety. You know, I would, when we reach out to them, don't say, it's a safety. We just wanna make sure that you have the flags, you know, some kind of caution. Yeah.
Because some of their drivers are a little bit fast.
Tell them they, push one of our locals off the road
I-
on a big truck.
I came down the other day, a pickup truck went up there, they had to go.
Yeah, that's what I said,
You
it's
know,
just,
Yeah.
they go over the road pretty fast.
Local Joe,
We're up there delivering all the
local
water.
Joe, and I had my cheeks on, right down, you know, I don't go fast now.
Tail.
Oh, yeah.
What else?
There's definitely spin the tire.
I don't have anything else under correspondence, I just have old business.
Okay, old business.
To that. Kurt had made the motion at the last meeting to do the permit for the sign, so I have the permit ready, the check made out from the building community group. But, if you guys want to review it and sign it.
Because this is what we decided on. I know one of them that we said 3 at Stamford, school, town office, library. And it's gonna be that.
Yep.
All the way across, right?
Yeah, what was it, 54 by 30 or something like that, 11.25
54 by
square feet.
30, 11.5.
Okay. Submit it.
Sign it.
Oh,
Do we
How
have,
far from this?
we have to draw in there how far away from the road we are?
It has, yeah, it has to be at least 50 feet
Right.
in, and we should mark it, so we have.
So it's not gonna be where all the flowers are,
No,
Like 50 feet.
so all those have to be dug up?
no, that's a gratuitous garden.
Probably should ask Pam if she wants her flowers.
I don't think she
Yeah.
wants them.
Town paid for them.
Did they?
Yeah,
I thought you donated
$9
Community
Oh,
group
community group paid for
funds.
them.
She played, I think she donated time.
Oh, maybe the
Plant-
time, yeah,
The plant.
but the plants themselves are.
Some
Some of them are
facilities,
low enough, cause they look like they can,
those
Makes
big
you want
tall
to play
orange,
more.
yellow sunflower
I don't know, I
things
just
probably
thought
should
she
be
donated
taken out of there, and maybe just put them somewhere else in the
Yeah, you
schoolyard.
put them on
you
this,
know.
but the kids transplant or something for their.
Yeah.
They'll come back every year, I'm sure.
Well, we could ask her, but I don't think she's gonna want.
But yeah, we should probably put some markings out there and where the sign's gonna go.
yeah, so Deb will,
Make sure it's not, please.
Make it 50 and a half, half.
Yeah, please.
yeah.
I do 51.
Yeah, 50
51.
one's good.
Other old business, Lori.
Nothing from me. Oh, I do have something. I spoke to you at a meeting or two before about the problems I'm having with the CDL drug testing stuff. We sent a nice little email to the drug testing people. I had no response from them. I did forward it to our insurance guy, Wade Masher, at VLCT. He said they were made aware of this problem from the drug testing company themselves the first few days of August. If all goes as planned, things should be back to normal around mid-September. But that's all he said, and then yesterday, maybe the day before, I got a new reminder that everything needs to be done through Southwestern Vermont Medical Center, so they're not willing to work with us in testing people for any tests that we have this quarter.
Do you have tests? Not yet.
Does that mean it can be done in town?
Confidentially, it's all confidential.
Oh.
Testing.
Can
But
it
if we were to have 2 tests this quarter, they have to be done by September 30th, and our employees would, at this point, have to go all the way up to Southwestern Vermont Medical Center. That's where they've chosen.
Yeah, but Pownell takes lab samples.
do they, yeah, but are they the CDL certified collector?
It has
That's
to be a.
Southern Vermont.
She said.
Yeah, but they have to be the
Do you mean the
collector.
Pownell campus?
Either way, they
Yeah.
should become the garage like they normally do.
Right. And they said by mid-September, so we can play the, if we have tests coming up.
Normally what happens is Lori calls me the day before and says, hey, you gotta be at the garage at this time. Okay. So that works in the winter because the guy shows up and I can make it happen. But if there's a storm and she calls me the day before and says, hey, guess what? You gotta go to the hospital tomorrow because you're gonna have to set that up.
I'm gonna have to set it up.
What if you're sick?
You have to make an appointment.
Right. If you don't make it, something happens.
Then you gotta go the very next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
And it's
So,
just what matter,
So
like
he
your
didn't
time
say
and
you're off
everything
the
going
hook,
over
you're
there,
not
come
off the
back.
hook, he didn't say anything.
Right.
But they sent another, they sent another reminder about these are the forms and this is where you need to go.
that's probably all in their computer, if he hasn't been there by the 15th of September, so they push the button and send another reminder. So, what do?
But it's only if they call for it, right? It's like a unknown task, they don't know what's coming, just
It's a
random, yeah.
It's
But every
pretty
quarter
often.
It's
they,
called,
they
know if
notify.
they called.
I get it a few times a year anyway.
Yeah.
4 times a year or whatever.
So at the beginning of the quarter, if our guys are picked, I just receive a notice that one of our guys has been chosen. Or both of our guys have been chosen. But then I don't hear anything until it's time to schedule it, and when they know they're gonna be in our area, they'll call me on Monday saying we're gonna be here on tomorrow or Wednesday to schedule
And
it.
they can take your CDL license away from you.
No.
What can they do to you?
I mean, this is through our insurance, this isn't the federal program. The federal program, you know, I've never had my CDL for 20 years and I haven't gotten it. This is just our insurance company doing it.
But it is a federal, they're putting you in the federal testing program, so it'll have federal effects. In non-compliance.
I don't think they pull their CDL right away, there's a way to work with them Do you need
Counseling.
If I'm
counseling?
not told to go, that's the thing. If you fail it, you have to
get help.
by law,
You get help.
offer counseling,
Yeah.
and so it's not like, the whole thing's a joke.
Well, there's some employees that are going to fail. Here? No, not here.
They're not testing the select board, don't
Not
worry
here.
about
Not here. So do we just kind of ignore them, or?
Or tell me if it's needed, I have to schedule it, or not.
Yeah, so they haven't really even said whether you have to or haven't.
I would have
They're
had to,
saying
we
if you
can't
do,
do
you
this.
have to do it.
We can't do this, we're a two-man operation, we can't have our guys.
Right back and
out.
say, we're gonna wait till your mobile
We're
units.
behind as it is on our duties.
You're
Yep.
probably gonna have to call Wade and maybe say, hey, look, what's the scoop? You told me this, they're still telling me that.
Maybe have to be crabby and call them and say, we're not doing it until your mobile unit is up and running.
We can be proud.
Good?
Could try.
The
Could probably-
best part is that
probably
the
gonna say
person
no.
that comes down and gives you the test doesn't even have to do it themselves. Cause I questioned that, cause the guy that came to give me the test one day, I was pretty sure it was I as a kite. I said, did they make you do this? He started laughing and said, no, I don't have to pass any of that. So you're putting this in your hands right now, to trust you that you're not gonna tamper with something.
That's right.
He's gonna turn it away from
Think about it.
Yeah, he's like, hey.
Oh, I got a good one here.
And the guy followed me into the
I
van.
can use
What are
this.
you doing?
Why the watch?
Yeah, apparently.
Yikes.
It's
So,
funny
I
that
mean,
none of our
it's-
teachers
it's
have to
funny.
get
It's kinda
tested,
ridiculous.
and they take care of our students every day.
That's true.
They don't need.
Fewer and fewer people are getting
That
tested
makes
all the
sense.
time.
The teachers can,
I mean, there's a reason truckers like
You can
cocaine
get-
over marijuana, right?
don't worry about
Cocaine's
them
out of your
around the
system
kids
in
all
2 or
day.
3 days.
Okay.
Heaven
What
forbid,
else?
whatever.
What else you have, Lori?
I think that's.
Anybody apply for a DB fiber
No.
help yet? No?
No.
Okay.
All that work to get it ready.
Yeah. Just in case. What do you have for new business?
Nothing for me.
Use of school facility form. I requested all first and third Thursdays of each month, beginning September 2024 through August 2025, 6 to 9 p.m. in case there is our attendance here exceeds the seating capacity of the town office, that we can use the town multi-purpose room.
Sounds right.
And you were approved, right?
Yes, we were approved. All right. Lori sent us what is it? Vermont 250 Anniversary Commission party. Declaration of Independence is coming in 2025. And the state would like all communities to participate somehow, whether it's big, small. So if anybody from Stamford is interested,
25 or 26?
Starting in 25, finishing in 27. So we have a couple years to do a party.
That's a big party.
So we're celebrating the 249th
No
or the
fireworks.
251st anniversary? Yeah, it's like.
Either it's 250 or not.
Okay. It's a 3-year celebration. I
Yep.
guess.
Sounds like my daughter's birthday.
Oh.
It's almost as long as the revolution happened today, tomorrow, yesterday.
Can't think of
That's almost as long as the whole war for independence.
Well, it took a couple years, you know.
Well,
so-
you think we should shoot some fireworks off? Firearms?
Good.
Okay,
Does that mean we can get new funny license plates?
maybe.
Oh,
$1 that looks just like a quarter.
On Wednesday, September 18th, 10 to 11:30, there's going to be a VLCT budgeting, spending, and borrowing seminar I'd like to sign up for it, if you can have it here at the town office.
What was that one?
Budgeting, spending, and borrowing. It's 10 to 11:30 on Wednesday, September 18th.
Maybe we'll learn how to do bonding for paving.
Mm-hmm. Any other new business, old business, guys? Okay, and I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for legal matters and personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Good night, all.
I just want to mention, anybody who knows Cindy came tomorrow, there's gonna be a spaghetti supper Saturday night.
How is she doing?
I know she had her last operation, well, not last, but another operation a couple weeks ago on her hand.
It's gonna be a long road.
Should be at the dinner.
She will?
I'm thinking, it's for her, right?
Yeah, she will.
I think she's tough.
She's young, she's tough.
Yeah, she got her.